Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today I wanted us to reminisce, some of the high school moments, the best moments you've experienced in high school. And so for me as an African child who learned in, the high schools that were just there in the village, it's say the things that carried us through high school were actually the punishments. And here's why. There were some, interesting ways in which teachers would come up with ways to ensure that you're punished and you do something wrong, you get scolded for it, but in the African way. And yes, we hated them at that time, but when you get out of high school and then start talking to your fellows about the things you experienced at that particular time, yes, they were painful, but they helped us go through a lot. um, they helped shape people we are today. They helped instill a lot of discipline in us, not only at that time, but the discipline that we still have up to now. So, let's discuss some of them. There was this punishment that would be told to hug trees. That was, I'd say, the simplest, but the hardest. You know how school had a lot of trees and they are big trees. So when you're told to hug the tree with your hand, not being, you're not supposed to put your hand down. It actually is more of an exercise. So it takes a lot of your energy and your strength, and that punishment. The punishment was so hard. So maybe you didn't do your assignments, or you're supposed to do work somewhere, dormitory, mop, sorry, but you chose not to. So those were the kinds of punishment. I'd say it was like not the hardest punishment, but also the hardest punishment. Okay, now there's this group of people that loved sleeping in class. So in high school, you're supposed to wake up, I'd say 4:30, but by 5 you're in class. So you wake up at 4, you prepare, bathe, do the things you're supposed to do. But by 5, you're supposed to be in class for the dons. Now at that time, there were, I was among them. Um, while you were just sleeping, imagine waking up at 4. So, yeah, at that time you might find yourself dozing or maybe in between lessons. So, the lessons we go to dawns from 5 to 6, 6 to 7. You do work, breakfast, water views. You within that time you also do the chores. That was maybe classroom, you sweep, you mop. Those are working in the dormitory because there's always a duty rota in high school. So we have different working times and different working places. So you might be tired and you find yourself sleeping in class. So the punishment that would be given was, and I remember during those punishments, the weather was hot. So you're being told to put on your, cardigans, every hot thing, sweater, windbreaker, jumpers. You're told to put them on, and then you go get your blanket and you put it at the assembly for you to sleep at the assembly. And let me tell you, that punishment. Imagine on a hot, sunny day with all those things on, plus your blanket on top, you're told to sleep in that assembly. Oh, goodness. I also remember this. I don't know what was the effect, but our teachers wanted us to be good at speaking. Our language is apart from the mother tongue. Let me say the Kiswahili and the English. So at some point, you'd be given, we called it a disc. So if you speak your mother tongue, you're given that to hold on to. But I don't know. I don't really know if it worked. But maybe at that particular time, so you'd be competing to say your broken English, broken Kiswahili, and you'll be given the disc. Or at some point, there'd be a Manila. You'll be given a Manila. So it's a Manila paper, and then in front of it, I don't know, but there was something written on it that was so degrading if you're speaking in your mother tongue, because our teachers want us to speak in Kiswahili or English. So once you're given the Manila, you hang it around your neck, and I'd say it was so funny, but it was humiliating. For that one, it was humiliating, and no. You wouldn't wish that on anyone. So we'd try as much as we could to ensure that we speak in Kiswahili or English, and it had to be fluent. Not just you speaking because people speak, but it had to be fluent. Okay, let's now move to the mother of all punishments. I mean, if you're an African child who learned in the previous ages, then you'd know that the mother of the punishment would be the canes. I remember there was one point, um, I was in Form 4, and we'd done the maths exam, and it's maths, you people. Only African kids will understand this. So I remember it was the whole school, the whole of the Form 4's block. We were paraded right from, we had a pathway where we'd walk to while going to the assembly from our classes. So let me say the blocks are on the right side, and then the staff room is on the left side. So with the number of, we were more than 500 students. So even if you were the top student at that particular point, we were paraded, and the teachers didn't care whether you were the top or you were the bottom. But all the teachers rained on us heavily. It was, no, that one was too painful. So we were rained on terribly after being aligned, and you're sleeping at that point. I mean, you're lying down with your belly. So you've slept waiting for your turn to come. But I think those of us who learned during the previous times when punishments really suffered. I mean, compared to the previous years, students learning at this particular moment, I mean, the canes were abolished, but to some extent, I feel they should be there because, but I feel just to some extent, not to the extreme, just enough, because truthfully, they're very good students, and I'm speaking from experience as a teacher. Anyway, what about you in your high school? Were there any such punishments, or what are some of the punishments that you can remember? Punishments that really, yes, they were sad, but they were kind of interesting now that you look back at it. What are some of them? Share your experiences with me.